It's all to race for. Coming to turn 4. Oh, he's hit him. He's done it.
What?
Oh, he's taken 2.
Five red lights in Baku, and it's a good reaction time for Alex Albon. Can he pressure his mate down into turn number 1? No, he can't. That's deep from Louis Delatraz to hand the position to Esteban Gutierrez. And of course there are cars absolutely everywhere. This is Baku, for goodness sake. You knew that was coming. But it's Russell, Albon, Gutierrez, the top 3. We are understandably looking at the battle for P5. Oscar Piastri having the time of his life around this circuit. He's got the move done. Fittipaldi knows he needs to fight back absolutely immediately, and he'll try to do so with DRS.
Oh, that's going to be very close indeed.
One of those moves that makes you wince, but the outside line becomes the inside. Oscar Piastri does now have P5.
You can see the grip that Anthony Davidson has over Courtois as he sends one up the inside. That's going to be so close. Surely it's single file through there. No, what a move from Davidson.
Podiums.
Alex Albon, 3-second time penalty.
And that will do it. That will do it for the battle for the lead. George Russell can see the checkered flag, and the British driver crosses the line to win on the streets of Baku, and it's 3 in a row for George Russell.
Yes, an unbelievable drive there from George Russell to do the 3P in the penultimate race at Baku. So glad you could join us tonight. Welcome along. My name is Tom Deacon, and this is the Gfinity Arena, the home of F1 esports. Sadly, though, tonight is the last virtual Grand Prix. I'm kind of emotional about it, but to help me not get too emotional and cry live to you guys is, of course, Sky F1 presenter Natalie Pinkham. Natalie, what did you think of the 3P? That's a good start to the show, right?
You said you weren't going to do that.
Yeah, but then it's in the script, so I kind of...
Right. I'll put some other things in the script then, see if you follow them.
Fair enough. Listen, I'm like Ron Burgundy. Listen, joy and entertainment that we've brought and given to people.
It's been amazing.
It is kind of sad that this is the last virtual Grand Prix.
It really is. You know, it's created entertainment when we've needed it most. It's filled a big gap for all racing fans out there. It's created a newfound respect for those esports drivers that do this day in, day out. It's been brilliant, and I've been honoured to be a part of it, so thank you.
Yeah, so our last leg that we are going to is, of course, Montreal circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada, which I'm excited to get to. Obviously, historically, it's given us some incredible F1 moments, and here's just a few of them now.
Bienvenue au Quebec and welcome to Montreal.
Crash fans don't crash. The walls are close, the curbs are high, that's why we love it.
Oh, it is a massive crash!
What was that? I lost control of the vehicle and hit the wall. There's nothing more to it than that.
Check the numbers, just keep pushing. This place is good. How are we doing? We are the fastest on track. They need to calm down.
Oh my goodness me! Villeneuve wins.
Bravissimo. That's an historical win.
That was a hell of a race. A hell of a race.
There we go. Indeed, we race on. Kind of misleading there. Sebastian Vettel with the champagne, with a GoPro on, which I think is odd, but however...
Looked great.
It last year, controversial with the Hamilton situation.
Yes. Well, of course, those pictures were from 2018, but last year, as you say, he was leading the race. He was forced into a mistake by Lewis Hamilton. He rejoined the track. He got a controversial penalty, and it meant that he just couldn't keep that 5-second lead from Lewis Hamilton. It meant he was then relegated to second place, and there was a huge uproar from Sebastian, all of his fans, the Ferrari team, from most of the world, who didn't want to see those kind of penalties applied. But yes, I mean, this circuit has seen such drama over the years. Probably my favourite race of all time in 2011, when Jenson Button came from the back to win the race win that he claimed to be the best of his career.
Yeah, it was incredible. The weather, the visibility was dry. In terms of a race, would you like to see a wet race today or better conditions for our drivers?
I mean, I'd love to see changeable conditions, because it is interesting to see how the drivers cope with those. And Jenson, the king of the changeable conditions, you know, I think that this race does throw lots of variables up, and the weather is one of them. OK, and maybe a couple of groundhogs, as you told me earlier. A couple of groundhogs! Just ask Anthony Davidson. Back in 2007, he was running in third, and he finished 17th because a groundhog, or at the time he thought it was a beaver, collided with his car.
Well, listen, one of the exciting moments that I'm looking forward to when the season gets ahead and underway again is one of the most exciting prospects, Mr. Esteban Ocon, and I'm delighted to say he's joining us now. Esteban, great to have you on the show. Are you well?
I'm very good, thank you. I can hear you very badly, but otherwise, all fine, ready to go.
OK, I love the fact you're in your car at the moment. I see your Renault jacket in the background. I do want to say, obviously, with the F1 esports and this virtual Grand Prix, have you been surprised at how successful and exciting it has been?
Yeah, it's been fantastic to watch, and great for me to be taking part of at some point in the Monaco Grand Prix. A shame what happened after, but definitely a way to keep ourselves busy, as well. We need to be hungry for competition. We want always to be fighting with the others, and it's been good, you know, to be racing with all the guys on different platforms for myself, and yeah, I mean, I love sim racing and since always, so it's been awesome.
I have to say, sorry, Natalie, I just wanted to check because we just saw some of the footage of the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which you obviously have done so well at. Is it a track that you enjoy racing?
Yeah, it's a track I really love, to be honest. One of the favorite ones of the calendar. It's been great. I've been quick there. Had some great fights. 2017 with Sebastian, with Sergio. 2018 as well. It's been very good each time I was on track there. So. Yeah, I can't wait to be back at some point, and the atmosphere in Canada as a French driver, it's always awesome, and we always are very well welcome. So yeah, I can't wait to go back.
And talking of can't wait to get back, you having taken a year out of the sport, which obviously wasn't your choice, you must just be chomping at the bit to get back racing again. You are going to be in the car this week, not this year's car, but from 2018. You're going to be in Austria this week. Tell us about it. Exactly.
I'm leaving after tomorrow to get testing. We are testing on the 17th for myself, Daniel on the 16th in Austria. So that's going to be our comeback in the 2018 car. Yeah, it's been so long, Natalie, I have to say. So it's great to hear from you, from you guys there. It means that we are going to get back racing soon. But yeah, everything went wrong since I didn't find any seat last year. It's been so long, so I can't wait to now finally get back.
Yeah, I want to ask you about, Esteban, the winter testing in February. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's been good. I have to say, I learn every day. You know, myself with Daniel, I have a great benchmark in my team, which is fantastic, and the car was a good step up from the one I tested in Abu Dhabi in 2019. So I was definitely looking forward to drive it in Melbourne. Now it's going to be very different. Of course, we are going to have a lot of new parts when we are going to restart in Austria. The car I've developed, we didn't even test them, so that's even crazy. But yeah, it's even more exciting like this.
And what do you think about the rest of the season? Because it's obviously going to be concertinaed, packing loads of races in. We perhaps could see a few surprise results, do you think?
Well, it's definitely going to be so important to perform each time we are going to be on track, because at the moment we are not seeing what the future is going to bring. So with the races we are going to see, it's going to be important to get the points straight away. And of course, the one who's going to be the most awake to start with is going to be the one who will perform the best. So definitely for us, it's going to be important the test this week, and then we need to be ready for the first race. But for sure, one race doesn't follow the other, even if it's the same track. So it's going to be very, very exciting, and it's going to be very important to perform well.
You mentioned, Esteban, about the fans in Montreal, the French fans that support you, and you feel kind of at home there. In terms of being a Frenchman and that pressure that's added to joining Renault, a French team, what's that like?
Well, the pressure's gone, I have to say, since I found an exciting challenge with a great team alongside me. So now I'm very happy to be racing for Renault F1. It's been a long time that we speak to each other. We've missed each other for many years as well. I was the reserve driver of the team in 2016. So, yeah, finally, we've found an agreement. I'm here for a couple of years. So, yeah, the pressure has left me, and now I have to do only my job, which is the most important.
which no doubt you will do very well indeed. We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
There you go, Esteban Ocon on the show, in his car at the moment. Just imagine he just puts blazing on the tunes now, just to enjoy himself a little bit. But obviously, we go into this race now. The format, it's the same as it has been with the virtual Grand Prix. We have an 18-minute qualification, some brilliant names to introduce to everybody tonight. 50% race, no damage. Driver assists are on, and there are, and it's put in bold for me, the strict track limits, which doesn't mean they won't be pushed to the limit, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. And yes,
penalties galore.
To apply that in real life, I tell you one thing that does limit the track limits, or the abusing the track limits, is that wall of champions. Because you're not going through that anytime soon.
No, indeed. But in terms of, you mentioned him earlier, Ant Davidson.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the driver lineup.
Oh, yes, he's driving again tonight, isn't he? Good stuff. Because
this is quite exciting, because we have some content creators from the world of the sim racing and the F1 game by Codemasters. Arava joins us, the Arava YouTuber content creator. I'm excited about that. Simon Neil, Biffy Clyro, vocalist. Now, he's been getting a bit of help from a few people.
He has indeed. So the deal was, quid pro quo, he would give Danny Kvyat some guitar lessons in exchange for racing tips. So that's what they've been doing. I tell you what, I'd love to learn from both of them on both that skill set. So, you know, yeah, keep an eye on him.
Indeed. Pierre Gasly there, the AlphaTauri F1 driver, made his debut last week in Baku, finished P12. And then we move on, there's Anthony Davidson, as you can see there, driving for Mercedes. Interesting enough, you've got Guan Yu Zhou, who is back. He won back in Bahrain, and obviously going to be pushing George Russell, because that man down in the bottom corner of your screens is a man who's won 3 back-to-back races. He's going to be pushed there by some drivers who want to get the sort of bragging rights of winning the last
Absolutely. Well,
race.
yes, he won in Spain, Monaco and Azerbaijan, as you say. He's 22 points in the championship. Unfortunately, Charles Leclerc isn't racing tonight, but he definitely wants to go for 4 wins on the bounce and remind everyone just how talented he is.
And we also welcome, as you can see, some of the drivers on the screen at the moment, just getting ready, warmed up. Kaio Collet, the Renault finished season with excitement, because they're in the Enstone Renault factory tonight racing. So you've got Guan Yu Zhou and Kaio Collet joining us and racing, hopefully being able to push it to the limit and put George Russell under a lot of pressure.
Absolutely. And Nicholas Hamilton back as well. Great to see him there. But as we've seen from the eSports series, the race that we've just had, the grid can be incredibly mixed up. The weather may be changeable as well, so anything could happen.
Indeed. Well, listen, we've had some celebrities, former drivers, and His Serene Highness Prince Albert of Monaco give well wishes to our drivers. Well, tonight is no different. Chase Carey, the CEO of Formula One, has had a few words to pass on.
Hi, I'm Chase Carey, the CEO of Formula One. First and foremost, we hope everybody has been managing this difficult and challenging time, and our thoughts go out to the individuals and their families who've been directly affected by the coronavirus. At Formula One, we've missed racing on the track the last 3 months, but we've been thrilled to have our virtual Grand Prix fill the void. We've had some great virtual races, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the teams, the Formula One drivers, the other participants, and really everybody behind the scenes who made it possible. We look forward to returning to the track in early July in Austria, and look forward to a great 2020 Formula One season ahead of us. But in the interim, we hope you enjoy one more virtual Grand Prix. Thank you very much, and all the best.
So there you go, Chase Carey, great to have his words out. And I don't know if you noticed, the F1 Esports Trophy was just behind him. Back at the end, well, before the end of the year, we're back in the Gfinity Arena. So our professional sim racers, our esports drivers, will be competing for that. But going back to tonight, last week, Natalie, we had an onboard look with Valtteri Bottas going around Baku. Tonight, we go to Montreal Circuit with the DHL fastest lap winner, Kerry G. Natalie, if we could talk through those moments, or areas to look forward to in this very exciting Canada circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the Canadian circuit is a series of straights and chicanes. It's on a man-made island, the Notre Dame Island, in the middle of the St. Lawrence River, so it's unique in that respect. You're going to have to get a boat to work. It's 70 laps of a 4.361 kilometre circuit. It's a high-speed track, lots of overtaking opportunities. Cars need to be able to ride the curbs and not lose time through those chicanes. And much like Monaco, it has concrete walls that will punish mistakes. So you don't want to be making those mistakes. And the big one, of course, is that Wall of Champions. And named aptly so because of back in 1999, Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve all came a cropper. And in more recent years, Nico Rosberg, Carlos Sainz, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel and Kevin Magnussen also had problems at that stage of the racetrack. Actually, I asked Damon just before we came on air about the Wall of Champions, and he gave me this great quote. He said, "It has no attraction for me. I, on the other hand, was very attracted to it. Much to my relief, I wasn't the only one. It seemed to like Champions rather a lot, but it is very impartial. It will take anyone who does not respect it." So, and it also stops arguments over track limits too, a point I alluded to earlier.
Oh, brilliant. Well, as we saw there, Kerry G winning the fastest lap time. That time, though, just to point out to any sim fans out there, is on career mode. So there's been a bit of tinkering with the car to make it go at that speed. However, always up to speed are our commentators for tonight. Alex Jakes, Matt Gallagher. Gentlemen, what's the view like up there in the arena?
It's pretty good. It's been pretty good all the way through this fantastic event that we've seen for the last few weeks, and I'm pretty sure that car could fly by how quickly it was going. That was ridiculous.
Matt, obviously our esports expert when it comes to that sort of track time. In terms of the cars that are going to be out there, not maybe setting that sort of fast time.
No, absolutely not. And if they are, they're going to get a slap on the wrists from me for track limits, which we love to talk about as much. I'm still also recovering from your three-peat gag at the start of the show, but that's fine. Just about getting there.
Indeed. And obviously, gentlemen, it's been a real treat to watch all of the drivers compete in this. But tonight, George Russell is going to have a bit of a target on his back.
He is. He's been the benchmark for a long time now. It started off with Charles Leclerc, and then he's just taken a step forward. And to be honest, no one's really been able to live with him. So I think there's a few in the field, though, that will be desperate to interrupt this winning run.
Well, I expect a few surprises. Natalie and myself will be down here at the desk. I'll pass it over to you, gentlemen, to take us through qualification.
Thank you very much indeed. Let's go straight to qualification, already in progress then with George Russell, the driver to beat. There we are. We didn't know that was coming, but it was a fairly good bet. Esteban Gutierrez has been very strong last couple of races as well, always on the podium, and he is there right now. But what a lap from Colette and Joe, both of those drivers racing next to each other. At Enstone, at the factory, and they are third and fourth right now with 6 minutes to go of this 18-minute session.
I was kind of hoping that George Russell's car would be weighted down, or, you know, have one less wheel or something, just something to slow him down, because he is just unbelievably quick at this game. He's had the training from the Williams esports guys, Javier Guerra, one of the guys that's very much in charge of the esports drivers there. Whatever tips that they've been giving him, he's very much absorbed, digested, and then just can put it on the track. 107.6 is rapid. I'd be very, very surprised if anybody can beat him to pole position. We've got 5 minutes 43 seconds remaining, which means, depending on where they are, half the guys are still in the pits, a few people on outlaps, maybe 2 more attempts from everyone.
So a chance to get further up the order, but George Russell with a handy gap, and you'd have to say a bit of a grasp on pole position at the moment. Alex Albon will want to do better than that. He won earlier in the year at the Brazilian racetrack that we went to. Nicholas Latifi has taken part in every single race. He's in 7th position, and Anthony Davidson going very nicely there as we tick into the final 5 minutes of the session. We always like to bring you an interview during this qualifying session, and we've got a corker for you today at the final virtual Grand Prix. Gunther Steiner, the Haas team boss, is going to join us now to give us his thoughts. And Gunther, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. How have recent weeks been for you as a team principal, trying to get everything prepared for this return to racing and 8 races in 10 weeks? You know what? I don't think Gunther's... He's stunned by the quality of that question.
That question was top-notch.
That was incredible, wasn't it?
A star.
Gunther, can you hear us?
I can hear you very well, but the background I cannot understand what they're saying. I can hear noises, but not understand what is said.
Okay, let's try.
I can hear you, everyone.
Let's try again, Gunther. Number one, how are you? Are you doing well under what have been some difficult circumstances?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm doing well, fortunately. So just working hard, but as you say, the circumstances are not the nicest ones, but we're keeping head above water.
Gunther, great to have you on the show. Do you think the exceptional circumstances of this season could give the midfield pack an opportunity to disrupt the big three?
That will be difficult because after Australia, after the Barcelona test, I think all the midfield teams didn't change a lot on their cars. They just try to survive like us, you know. So I don't think we can challenge the big one, but hopefully we can challenge each other, which will make it interesting as well this season in the midfield.
We're looking at one of your cars on track at the moment. You've had two great representatives in Pietro Fittipaldi and Louis Delatraz. What have you made of their performances in this virtual Grand Prix series?
I think they're doing pretty well, you know. I think Louis won also the 24 Hours of Le Mans, obviously not in our car, but they are racing as much as they can, and Pietro had the pole position in Monte Carlo. So I'm pretty happy with them. You know, I think it's very competitive out there in the virtual world for them.
And a former Haas driver as well in P2 at the moment, just behind George Russell. Just finally from you, Gunther, give us a prediction for this season. Are Haas going to be rock stars this year?
Or what is the other option? Can you tell me that one?
I'm not sure, but I think I might get fired if you tell us.
We don't want to get fired. No, back to your question. I don't know. It's difficult to say. The strange thing is we tested in Barcelona, and it seems years away that we tested. So the midfield was very close together, and hopefully we can shake up something a little bit. But it will be a difficult season because of the circumstances. With the long break, unexpected break, we had to turn everything off. For financial reasons, and now we started again, obviously, to be ready for the season, but it will be tough in there. Hopefully we rock a little bit.
Well, good luck for the season ahead. It's going to be super intense. We wish you and the team the very best, and thanks for joining us for this final virtual Grand Prix.
Thank you, and good luck to you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Great to hear from Gunther Steiner there. Thankfully, we didn't hear all the options for certain answers.
What an absolute legend.
He's always great value, and we appreciate his time. Right, now to the nearest challenger for pole position. You're on board with Esteban Gutierrez, and he is trying to close down this gap as we tick down into the final section. Stuck in second gear at the moment. Yellow flags out there for the time being. Let's get a prediction out of you, Matt. Can he close down that gap to George Russell?
I mean, my actual brain is saying no. My entertainment and race fan is saying yes.
Your commentary brain is saying yes.
George Russell, the only person in the 1 minute 7s at the moment. I think Esteban can definitely get within that. I don't really know what he's doing in second gear at the moment. Just trying to take his time to probably start his lap as late as possible. Although he wants to be taking that last chicane a bit quicker than that, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I would imagine he's lost a little bit of time going towards turn 1. But half a second to make up is a huge margin around such a small track as well. Let's see if he can do it as we take a look at Nicholas Hamilton.
Yeah, Nicholas Hamilton going across the chicane there and in 17th position. And we're into the business end of this qualifying session then. George Russell's 107.6 the time to beat. Esteban Gutierrez on a lap trying to get on terms. Nicholas Latifi at his home virtual Grand Prix, leaving his best performance until this last one. And Nicholas Hamilton out there trying to improve with 19, 18, 17 seconds to go. This is the last possible opportunity. Here's Nicholas Latifi then. Needs to get a move on, needs to cut the beam before the time runs out. He's got the DRS open.
I have a feeling he might not brake for this last chicane if he's got 4 seconds remaining. Yeah, oh no, he does.
Let's have a look. 2 seconds, and the driver in third will not get a chance.
Neither will Albon, down in P10.
So it's all rather confusing in terms of what's happened there in terms of track position. Similar thing to what we saw last year in Monza. So some drivers' effort is complete. And the big question is Esteban Gutierrez. Can he find a time out there that gets him on terms?
That may not actually be completely in sync as George Russell sets a 1 minute 7.4.
At that time, Matt. Look at that time. That is ridiculous.
He is just taken the mick now a little bit, if I'm being honest, but I think that wasn't completely in sync with us because from the left-hand side, you can see Nicholas Latifi, there's no checkered flag. So yes. I think everybody is on a lap, so we've got a bit more excitement coming.
So you can see 14th downwards, Pietro Fittipaldi in 6th position. Over the line goes Anthony Davidson. He will start no higher than 8th position. A lot of drivers still on outlaps. Good spot, Matt, because the cars are still circulating at this point. That lap time from George Russell is borderline ridiculous. And he looks like he's on for another pole position. Good effort from Pietro Fittipaldi. Colette and Joe going very nicely. And Colette with that just absolutely superb debut performance at the moment. Nicholas Latifi makes it a Williams 1-2. George Russell, the only driver in the 1-minute 7s, but Nicholas Latifi gets onto the front row and he will have a chance at improving. Esteban Gutierrez relegated down to P3. Colette has out-qualified Guan Yu Zhou for the time being. And Alex Albon at the very end gets himself up to 2nd position. Another driver into the 107. So the top 2 from Baku look like they're going to be the top 2 in Montreal as well.
If George Russell, fancies, hanging up his F1 career in 10 years' time, he could go into esports. 107.4, if my memory serves me correct, is only 1/10 of a second off of pole that we just witnessed. George Russell is ridiculous at this game, still half a second or so ahead of Alex Albon. The man, he's pretty much wrapped up this championship that we've spoken about, but he hasn't rested on his laurels.
Well, an excellent lap, a landmark lap for George Russell, who once again will start this race from pole position.
Qualification done. Landmark time from George Russell. Just going to show how talented he is in the real world racing and competing now. If he was to go into that esports world and race against those pro drivers, it was on the stream with Charles Leclerc. He said he would be in sort of about 5th place out of the best of the best. So going to show how good he is. But Natalie, anyone else who stands out for you at the moment?
Well, just on George there, praise indeed from Charles. They've all got this absolute mutual respect and camaraderie between them. But for Charles to say that about George is something, isn't it? I just want to give a shout out to Esteban Gutierrez. He's something of an unsung hero, not only in the virtual world, but also in the real world. He obviously drove for Haas in 2016. He then went and had a sabbatical with Formula E, came back as a reserve driver for Mercedes, but he has been consistently putting performances in. Strong points finishes, a handful of podiums as well. So, yeah, he's been really impressive throughout this whole series.
And also, a shout-out has to be said for the 5th place in P5, Caio Collet, who we were talking about, the Brazilian Renault Academy driver, who's up in 5th there on his debut. But again, it's the F1 drivers leading the top there. And Guan Yu Zhou, do not sort of think that he is not in with a chance in this race. Just talking about George, though, because he'll be looking to make it 4 out of 4 in the most recent races. You do the cribs with George Russell. He seems like the nicest guy, and we've got to see him really what he's like. What is he like in the cribs?
Well, that goes out tomorrow on Sky F1, so yeah, tune in for that. He's great fun. His brand is really building. He has all the talent to back it up. He really is a star of the future, and I'm going to put a tenner on him being in a Mercedes car quite soon.
Oh, OK.
I said it.
Oh, wow, betting as well.
I don't know anything that you don't, by the way.
Perfect. Listen, let's take a look at the track that we will be racing on tonight. So there you go. Areas to look out for, Natalie. By the way, anyone just joining us, just to mention, we have got the race going underway. Pole position, the Pirelli pole position, goes to that man right there, George Russell. You obviously, the cribs sort of had a look round all the areas. Is he in his bedroom right now? Is that where the rig is set up?
This is a sim room that he's set up just for lockdown. He's actually moved back to his mum and dad's place in the country, and he moved his trainer in with him as well. So he's got the perfect setup for any racing driver, in fact, any bloke. This is the perfect setup. That nice girls as well.
OK, so no wonder he's winning. Right, listen, qualification done. Let's see if he can make it 4 out of 4. Alex Jakes, Matt Gallagher are going to be looking after you.
Thank you very much indeed. Here we go then for one last time. The virtual Grand Prix with George Russell with a huge target on his back. Can anyone beat him here? Matt Gallagher.
Yes, yes, we're going to have the best race ever. I'm just sad that it's the last one. I'm very excited, obviously, for real life racing.
We had a chat in the break about being super enthusiastic.
Yeah, no, George Russell's going to be really slow in this race, I feel like.
Well, that's the thing. opening lap going to be crucial, because that is where you can make the difference. If you're Alex Albon, if you're Nicholas Latifi, that is the opportunity to make a lunge. That hairpin is a great opportunity. We've seen it earlier on, no spoilers for who it was, but late lunges at the hairpin defined the previous race a few minutes ago.
I hope I'll be shouting hairpin time at some point for any YouTuber Championship fans out there, but here's the predicted pit stop strategy. 2 stops, you got the softs, then medium. You could go for the medium hards, or there is a third alternate strategy, which is going on the softs, maybe for around 10 laps or so, and then sticking on the hards. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of excitement when it comes to pit stops and varying strategies. We saw it last time out in Baku, so I feel like Alex Albon won't go for the same thing as George Russell, because that's not exciting, and he doesn't really have the pace, it seems.
So a half-distance race of 35 laps to test the drivers who are forming up on the front row now. George Russell in the Williams, Alex Albon in the Red Bull on the left-hand side. Latifi trying to win his home virtual Grand Prix. This is the track where he made his debut in Formula 1 in free practice. And now, for one last time, we have 5 red lights for a virtual Grand Prix. They will go out, and the last virtual race that we have is underway with a good reaction time for Alex Albon. Can he do anything with it? No, he can't. He's going to be defending. George Russell off like a rocket into the distance with the McLaren spinning in the middle of the pack there. I think that was Ben Daly going backwards. There's always drama on the first lap. We've had it again, very nearly a Haas into the wall, and I think Pietro Fittipaldi was just able to gather it together. That's Albon being punted round, and Albon managed to keep it going. That was difficult stuff in the middle of the pack, but they've all managed to keep it going after contact in the middle there. Russell, Albon, Latifi, Gutierrez, the top 4.
I think a tiny bit of server lag just sent you down the wrong way there, Alex. But no, fair enough. I mean, you're commentating what you're seeing, aren't you? But Alex Albon,
I can't guess, right?
No, you can't at all. But Alex Albon, absolutely fine and dandy in P2, which is very good news for him. Esteban Gutierrez, P4, just behind Latifi. But, oh my goodness me, George Russell went off like a rocket at the start of this race. But Albon just keeping him very much, or keep staying in the rearview mirror of George Russell. Will Gutierrez have a chance? Latifi goes so defensive, but then comes back to the racing line as we come towards this final chicane.
Trying to break the toe there, the Williams in P3. Nicholas Latifi looking for his best result in the last virtual Grand Prix of the year. Callum Ilott in 7th position, and George Russell 1:15.1. as they are very close. You can see Gutierrez with a lot of confidence right now. I said a second ago I've never guessed in commentary, but that isn't true. We once had our monitors go down in Budapest when Lando Norris was taking the lead of a wet race, and I had to guess whether he was in the lead or not. Anyway, it all worked out.
How did the guess go?
Yeah, he took the lead. It was fine. It was totally fine. So sometimes you have to guess in commentary. Russell, Albon, Latifi, Gutierrez, and Colette, a superb debut performance from him so far, immediately up to the pace of the front runners.
Yeah, very similar to Oscar Piastri last time out, running in P5. So Kyle Colette doing very well indeed, just behind Gutierrez, only 0.2 of a second. So that may change positions very shortly. No DRS just yet. That'll be activated next lap. But very strange for me, commentating over Tiamat Marduk and Arava, 2 long-time buddies of me and YouTube content creators. And we have made some very funny moments around here in the YouTuber Championship, and it will hopefully continue sometime into the future. But yeah, very interesting to see some new content creators on the grid. And let's see how it all unfolds as George Russell sets another fastest lap of the race, and 2.7 seconds as Albon made a mistake.
Albon in 2nd position. Well, he was. Nicholas Latifi finds a way through, and so does Esteban Gutierrez as well. So it's a Williams 1-2 right now. Last time that happened a week ago on strategy. This time it is for real pace. But Gutierrez trying to immediately come back down the inside. That's not an obvious overtaking opportunity, although Jenson Button thought differently back in 2011. Russell, Latifi, Gutierrez, Alex Albon down to 5th.
I don't know what happened there. We didn't really catch that, but Albon must have made a huge error into turn 1. And now finally we can say it's a Williams 1-2, although I'm about to curse that. If Gutierrez, no, he's going to bump draft him to then maybe take him into the final chicane as long as he doesn't punt him.
It's late on the brakes. Latifi all over the road trying to keep that position. But right now, Williams finding themselves. So I wonder if there's a few technical gremlins.
Alex Albon's back.
Alex Albon. We're back to guesswork again.
This is some kind of games he's playing. Clearly, he's pressing a button which is allowing him to go further down the field, because I think Latifi, Gutierrez and Colette all saw that, and Colette, oh my goodness me, so close to collision with the Mercedes.
Now, trying to go the long way around, knows that that's not the best option. because you're very likely to find yourself on the grass. So decides against the order once again. Russell, Albon, Latifi and Gutierrez. But Gutierrez has gone from pressuring the Williams to right now just trying to gather himself together with the Renault closing in. Nicholas Hamilton has a 3-second time penalty. That will be for multiple corner cutting incidents on lap 4 of 35.
Well, it's a little bit of a saving grace to see Albon still in second place, 1.7 seconds behind George Russell. We still have a fight for the race victory here. Although I feel like Alex Albon may have left the stream open for the virtual GP a little bit. You know, he maybe wanted to hear what we wanted to say. And clearly that's affecting his internet connection a little bit. But either way, he's now very much running in P2. Latifi is coming under some serious pressure now. With DRS active, I think Gutierrez is going to have a really good opportunity down to the last chicane.
Now, can Gutierrez make the move at the chicane? These cars have got quicker and quicker through the year, so it's not a huge braking zone like it once was. He cuts the corner and has the advantage. Well,
Latifi spun,
where's Latifi gone? Yeah, he's in the background there. Nicholas Latifi found his way into the wall after that. And so now Colette trying to go into third position. They both run wide and continue. And it's Esteban Gutierrez, after a bit of hair-raising moments, over the chicane. His rival in the wall. He had to squeeze the 17-year-old Brazilian driver there, and he hangs on to move up to P3, but that was not relaxing stuff for him. All the while, this battle's going on. Guan Yu Zhou, driver in 5th place, winner of the first race of this virtual Grand Prix era back in Bahrain, trying to get on terms with his teammate in the battle for 4th place.
Natalie did a great segment about the Wall of Champions before the start of this race. I think she can add another one to that list of Nicholas Latifi. I can only imagine that's where he ended up going round that final chicane.
Down to 11th. Such a shame for Nicholas Latifi. He's always been consistent. Today seemed to be the most pace he has had in all the virtual Grand Prix all year, but that pesky Wall of Champions has claimed another victim. Very, very irritating for him, but he will try and fight back and claim some points today.
Yeah, cursed him not only once with the Albon lag, but twice by then having a collision into the last chicane. So I'm just not going to speak about any driver ever again and just kind of talk in grey, sort of vague terms about cars.
Could be a move. Maybe. It does look like there's a move. Colette has been electric so far today. Can't find a way through. Allows Guan Yu Zhou to close in. And he's taking Pietro Fittipaldi with him as well. Another 3-second time penalty for Nicholas Hamilton in the McLaren. We've got Ben Daly, his teammate for today, up in 9th position, just behind Anthony Davidson in the second Mercedes, or at least he was on terms of the timing pages, because that's a 3-second time penalty for him.
And a 3-second time penalty for Tia McMurdoch. Who would have guessed? The corner-cutting Australian back at it once again. Love it. But a point to mention very quickly, Nicholas Latifi, a very early pit stop. So I think, unless he's gone onto the hards for the longest stint of his life, he'll be going on to a 2-stop strategy, as we saw on the graphic before the start of the race. So that should be a medium for Latifi. I'm sure we'll get some sort of POV from him very shortly. But Kyle Collett, you have to say, wow, very quick indeed. And Gutierrez is coming under serious pressure.
Trying to go around the outside, that would be risky stuff. At the final chicane, no, he's going into the pits. So he's going for an aggressive strategy. Gutierrez hangs on for 3rd place at the moment. And so this would likely be a 2-stopper as well.
Was this Wall of Champions corner? Yes! Anyway, I'm loving it. I'm going very fast. I'm going to be a very dangerous driver. Thank you to AlphaTauri for having me. Thank you for the simulator. And apologies for all I'm going to do for your reputation in the weekend. See you on Sunday in Montreal.
Good to hear from Simon Neal, the frontman of Biffy Clyro, clearly having the time of his life and enjoying things out there. He's at the back, but he's really enjoying things. And we've had so many unexpected names in the field for these virtual Grand Prix, and he is the last unexpected name. Great to have him with us.
I have to keep updating my CV with all the names that I've commentated over. Oh yeah, Guerrero, yeah, why not? Easy peasy. But he can at least put the fact that he fought with Nicholas Latifi for one corner, as Latifi has pits and is now flying on those new set of tyres. We're now looking at Pietro Fittipaldi, currently running in P5, and may well put Guan Yu Zhou under some pressure in these coming laps. I think the benchmark really for soft tyres, if they want, or soft runners, if they want to go to a 1-stop, is lap 10. George Russell into the pits now. Oh, that's going to be a long stint, so that'll be a 2-stop.
Yeah, top 2 as well. Albon in as well. You can see that now on your screen.
So I said that they weren't going to go for the same strategy, and they've gone for the exact one.
Are you surprised that Albon having seen the last few races, has gone down that direction.
I would have liked to see him go for a track position strategy. You know, go a bit longer on the softs and then stick on the hards, because I think that's the only way he's going to beat George Russell today, because George, as we've seen in the last 3 races, is unbelievably quick and consistent, and Albon just went into the wall.
Just gave the wall a friendly nudge as he gets ahead of his teammate for today, John Olsen, the gold medal winning X Games skier, who joins us on the grid as well. So Pietro Fittipaldi, I'll get it right in a minute, up to 3rd position. Guan Yu Zhou in 2nd, and Esteban Gutierrez, who's been on the podium in the last few races, is currently the race leader, but has to make that stop.
How is this going to unfold then? So we've got the front 4 have yet to pit. Callum Ilott, great to see him near the front as well, fighting with Fittipaldi, Zhou and Gutierrez a little bit further down the road. Esteban pits, so does Guan Yu Zhou, so does Pietro Fittipaldi. Does Callum Ilott carry on for a little P1? He does indeed.
Loves
Get the cameras out.
The 2-time podium finisher in Formula 2, hoping to put together a title challenge this year, has the race lead. And George Russell will be hoping he comes in soon enough, because he doesn't want any hint of being held up if you catch the driver who's yet to pit in the wrong part of the racetrack. You can see sizable margin for George Russell. Meanwhile, on pit exit, it's pretty busy indeed. 3-second time penalty for Alex Albon to make that task even harder.
Oh no, I was hoping that maybe for George Russell to kind of spice things up a little bit. No, it's Alex Albon, 3-second time penalty. I think he got one towards the end of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix as well. Was that a car in the wall I just saw as well? It was Caio Collet.
It's Caio Collet,
that we can see as well.
You're looking at the moment, based at Enstone with his teammate Guan Yu Zhou, who we're on board with at the moment, who's made the stop in 8th position.
Big exhale, big exhale. That was definitely him in the wall.
Yeah, it's so disappointing because he'd been terrific all the way through. Guan Yu Zhou trying to improve, but it's heavy traffic right now. And he's making his way past the Alpha. And he's going to try and chase down Juan Manuel Correa, the American driver, ahead, who finished on the podium in the F2 Virtual Series. And Guan Yu Zhou, who has won a race at the Virtual Grand Prix level, won a race in the Virtual F2 level, and is now moved up to 6th position.
We need to keep an eye on Guan Yu Zhou's pace, as he has gone onto the hard tyres and is the only man on track at the moment with those hard compounded tyres. So if he has good pace, he'll be able to take track position when George Russell and Alex Albon pit again. So Zhou is very much putting himself in the mix, with Alex Albon at least.
Oh, here we go. That's George Russell sliding through and taking Callum Ilott to regain the race lead. And I believe we can catch up with what happened with George Russell as he came out of the pits a few moments ago.
So I should come out behind the 2nd Red Bull, but if I've got my timings right, or maybe not, I'll come out ahead of him.
Everything's working for George Russell right now. He's gone past Callum Ilott, who continues on his way. Let's check in. Live pictures then of the driver who has become the class of the field. Took him a little bit of time to get up to speed. This is a driver who had never done sim racing before, didn't have the setup before we had this lockdown period, but he has become the benchmark. And as you see, Callum Ilott struggling with traction with those old tyres. George Russell moving away. It's Pietro Fittipaldi trying to hang on to 5th position, and the Haas, having made the stop, able to get through with that tyre advantage. As the X Games gold medalist has to settle for 6th, hasn't been into the pits at the moment, and has Juan Manuel Correa giving him a little bit of a nudge and trying to get him out of the way. All the while, Guan Yu Zhou trying to make his way through this, having made his stop in the yellow Renault, and very close to spinning there.
Yeah, I think he has spun. He's going down to P12 at the moment, unless there's some other issues that we're made unaware of. But either way, Zhou is losing a lot of time being caught up behind these guys that have yet to pit. It's crucial for Zhou to have had a clean run, but it looks like the complete opposite has happened, and he's lost a hell of a lot of time. Caio Collet's now up to P8, so I don't know which strategy he's on currently. Let's have a look. He's on the medium, so he'll be doing a 2-stop as well, as Callum Ilott gets another 3-second time penalty.
So here's the tyres. Guan Yu Zhou going a totally different direction with his strategy on the hards. And it's rather ambitious to go on the softs at the bottom of your screen. There, that could end up in the wall, and it will. So Juan Manuel Correa has decided enough is enough And I think Wall of Champions, that totally works. John Olsen's got an X Games gold medal. He's definitely a champion, and he's been into the wall as well.
Out of a 3-second time penalty as well. They're all starting to rack up as they're not paying attention to the track limits, and Caio Collet's now got past Juan Manuel Correa.
So after his moment earlier, he's recovered and goes past. You can see Juan Manuel Correa yet to come into the pits, and all the way on this strategy on the medium tyres so far.
Going from bad to worse for Joe. Just got a 3-second time penalty as well. Have you started writing them down, Alex?
I have not done so, and that might not have been a wise decision. So we know this man has a 3-second time penalty, and he's got a 4-second real-time gap to George Russell. The driver now up to second place, having passed Callum Ilott.
Looking further down the field, obviously it's great to have Pierre Gasly racing on this Codemasters F1 2019 game, currently running in P13. I think he's got 1 or 2 penalties to his name as well, but we'll let him off. It's very easy to get a penalty around this Canadian circuit. That's going to be very close.
Oh, into the wall. That was always going to happen. Frustration for Davidson. Ben Daly has him into the wall, and, well, that wasn't a commentator's curse, that was a director's curse, cutting to Mr. Davidson at that exact moment, and he finds himself recovering from the final chicane and drops down the order. We're seeing plenty of that, only really the drivers at the front managing to stay out of it. Wheel to wheel in that final chicane, very, very easy to go wrong.
Very easy to go wrong, and I think because of the fact there's no damage, they're going, well, let's do it. Let's go side by side into there. What's the worst that can happen? Well, facing the wrong way and losing a hell of a lot of time. There is Pierre Gasly. We mentioned him a few moments ago.
Yeah, been busy with the night shift and now switching to Formula One.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. He must be quite tired.
Had a power nap and now back at it in the AlphaTauri. Last year's Toro Rosso, this year's AlphaTauri, and that fantastic liveried car on the track in a few weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, until we go back to the real thing for Formula One. The driver with 1 podium finish to his name, lining up Ben Daly right now as they go down the back straight.
There's no question he's taken it seriously. Very eager-eyed, trying to get past Tiamat Marduk into the final chicane. Surely not another side-by-side. No, Pierre Gasly knows a little bit better after probably watching.
Oh, goodness me! Found the inside wall, but he managed to hold it together. Plenty of penalties coming in at the bottom of your screen.
Another one for Tiamat Marduk and John Olsen and Arava getting a drive-through penalty for a collision.
Wow, have we seen that so far?
No, that must be really bad.
What did he do?
They're not doing the F1 content creators any good. Tiamat Marduk and Arava currently. Arava running in P20 now, after now probably serving his drive-through penalty, and he then has to pit again because he's on 13-lap mediums. It's really not going well for the guys that spend a lot of time on this game.
Pierre Gasly can't get through, though, at this stage on the same strategy, as you can see from the tyre graphic on screen at the moment. So he will just be trying not to get impatient and lay a bit of a lock-up from the driver in front. Nicholas Latifi is a driver who had contact earlier on. Recovered to 8th position now, but that will be frustrating for him. Callum Ilott going a long way on these tyres.
So we got Guan Yu Zhou, the only man apart from Louis Delatraz on the hard compounded tyres. And then we have the majority on the mediums, then a couple of people on the softs at the back, which I'm very intrigued about because they're not going to be able to go the full distance on those soft compounded tyres. As Fittipaldi running from P5, getting a penalty as well, which will promote Caio Collet ahead of him.
Checking back in with the race leader, and I think we can hear from him a few moments ago.
What on earth has been going on behind? You've got a massive gap.
I think it's because you are in another galaxy. That's the answer, mate.
Another galaxy.
What on earth has been going on behind? I think that gives you an idea of George Russell's character. He's fine to be winning, but he's like, come on, guys. Yeah, let's have a little bit of opposition here.
The thing is, the people behind him haven't really been involved in many incidents. He's just too quick.
Incredible stuff. How impressed have you been with the steps forward that he's taken every single race?
amazing. It has been incredible to watch because George Russell went from being, you know, the third man. It was Albon versus Leclerc, the big titanic battle between Red Bull and Ferrari, and George Russell's gone, no, I don't like this. No, don't like this at all. Equal car performance. I'm going to put in some time, and my goodness me, has he found time as he comes at Latifi, his teammate, just ahead of Callum Ilott, who comes out on the hard tyres. But George Russell, I am astounded with his pace. I know he's a Formula 1 driver, but it's a completely different ball game to be an alien level of speed on something that he took delivery of as a sim only, what, 2 months ago, whatever it was. It's amazing to watch.
Callum Ilott battling Nicholas Latifi now. The Ferrari trying to get down the inside of the Williams, trying to make that new tyre impression work immediately. He's done so. He's managed to get through. That's a nice move up to 7th position. Needs to make those hard tyres last, though, and Latifi wants to come back immediately, giving him a shove at the hairpin. But he's not able to come back, and Callum Ilott's strategy worked quite nicely for him to make a decent stint there. But he's under huge pressure right now. Hard tyres, brand new hard tyres.
Oh, no, not 3 wide.
Oh, not into this chicane. What a move by Ben Daly. Where was that speed? That was incredible stuff. They might all have penalties. Callum Ilott picking up another one as well. But, wow, that was incredible speed. And now Nicholas Latifi gets through as well. So Callum Ilott, who had that track position, falling backwards, and that hard tyre not working for him at this point. But 3 wide momentarily, and somehow the McLaren getting through.
I feel like Tim McMurdoch would have had a slap on the wrist from real-life stewards because I think he cut the corner after he got those positions. But either way, still very impressive. He had a double draft from the guys ahead, and he's now up to P7. And he needs to make these moves because I think he has 3.5 minutes worth of penalties to be added on at the end of this race. So he needs to get a move on. Arava now adds another one. Come on, guys, do better as F1 game content creators. I'm supposed to be commentating on you guys fighting for top 6.
Juan Manuel Correa getting ahead there, having made his stop, getting past the racing point and up to 12th position for the driver who's targeting a return to the F2 grid in 2021.
That'd be great to see. And it's been great to see Juan Manuel Correa just involved in a lot of virtual races. He's very much got stuck in. We saw his amazing mascot last time out for the F2 race. As we take a look at Simon Neal, only 1.5 seconds away from an F1 content creator. I think he'll take that.
I think he will. He's played stadiums of thousands, but he is having to get up to speed at the very end with this. And he's learnt the not blinking thing pretty quickly,
I was about to say, I'm still waiting. Should we wait to see if that? There it is. There's the blink. Lovely. But yeah, great to again have another personality on the grid. It's been amazing to see.
You might be a lap down, but it's great to have him with us. So George Russell right now has a 4.5 second gap. And your old mate.
There he is, Arava. P19. Shocking performance, it has to be said. I'm not even going to mince my words. P19, he's currently 11 seconds behind the Ferrari driver of Gianluca.
Is this because they didn't ask you to have a go?
Look, I'm just saying, I'd probably be in 18th, but it wouldn't be 19th. So, no, it's great to have Arava involved. As I say, you know, long-time buddy of... we've known each other for 10 years or so, I reckon, and he doesn't look like he's having a great time, but I guarantee he is. There is a smile under there.
It's just concentration. That's just concentration right now.
He's not concentrating hard enough. Oh, there's another pumpkin. Was that Arava running a pumpkin helmet?
Well...
I just noticed that.
I think he is. Right, let's keep the show on the road as we tick down the final laps of this virtual Grand Prix season with Callum Ilott. With Pierre Gasly behind. This hasn't really worked for Callum Ilott. I think he did a really great stint on the medium tyres, but he's not enjoying life on the hards at all.
I think it glorified his stint just a little bit by staying out and being in P1. Obviously, he had to stop, and George Russell was just behind him. But currently in P9, I think he's got a couple of penalties. We definitely would have run out of paper if we'd started to write those down. But he's got the pace. He's right behind Latifi, which was such a shame because it was looking like a Williams 1-2 at one point. But Callum Ilott, he very much can go to the end. There's not going to be any problems for him in terms of tyre wear. He's got 7 lap fresher tyres than Guan Yu Zhou, only 5 or 6 seconds down the road. So it's not over for Callum Ilott. And I think he'll be eyeing up a P6 or P7, even with all penalties told.
So here's Callum Ilott. You heard the tone for DRS. Nicholas Latifi has it as well. Hugs the inside line. challenges the Ferrari to go the long way round, and he can't do that, so he tucks back in. Latifi bouncing off the wall of champions and getting away with it, still feeling the need to break that toe. And Callum Ilott can't get close enough under braking for turn 1 and 2. And here comes Pierre Gasly making the move. Surprise for Callum Ilott, and that is down to 10th for the Ferrari driver. Pierre Gasly up to 9th.
And then gets the 3-second time penalty. Oh, what a shame. But Pierre Gasly's been driving unbelievably. He's up to P9. He's got to pit again, as does Latifi ahead. So that fight is going to rage on right until lap 35, I think. But Gasly's found some pace. Love watching it.
So we check in now with another gold medalist, this time in speed skating in the Olympics. Ted-Jan Bloemen, the Dutch-Canadian, who has, I think he's got his daughter, I'm hearing in my ear, he's got his daughter on his socks there, which is some top merch, you have to say.
That is, yeah, that's something. That's certainly not something I've ever seen before. But great to have him on the grid as well. A gold medalist, such accomplished sportsman throughout this virtual GP series, and he's running in P12. A pretty decent result, you have to say. Fighting one Manuel Carrera at the moment, and I think he'll take that, wouldn't he, Alex?
I think it's a superb performance to get up to speed. He's trying to break the toe right now as they go to the final chicane, and I think he'll be okay. No chance for the late lunge. So short are the braking distances, but Juan Manuel not wanting to hang around there. Side by side then, as they go down into turn 1, and the Alfa Romeo has the position up to 12th place for the American driver.
I'm loving the sim as well. It's a bit more kind of how I would relate to, you know, just kind of having a table and then, you know, sticking the wheel on top. And it's great to see, because all sorts of setups I've seen over the years of kitchen tables and sponges underneath the brake pedal just to give a little bit more feel into braking zones. It's amazing, and it's great to see, because that's how people adapt the best, and shows the adaptability of the drivers. As we see Tiamat Marduk, one of those guys who used to race with his wheel on his lap, which is ridiculous, is now up to P5. So he's clearly heard what I've said, and he's applying his pace now.
Yeah, after that roasting, he had responded.
He had to.
And now up to P4 as the second stoppers begin now. This stage of proceedings. The young Brazilian, Colette, leaving the pits. And he was 5th in the Euro Cup last year with 6 podiums to his name. So a prospect for the future, and immediately up to speed today with a trip to the wall thrown in there as well. Here's his teammate, Guan Yu Zhou, who got us started back in Bahrain. Seems a very long time ago indeed. Guan Yu Zhou trying to get past Max Mate directly ahead in the McLaren. You heard the tone for DRS there, so can he close in? It's surely going to send one. No, he's not, he's going to wait. So he's not able to make the move at the time being, but he's enjoying life on the hard tyres a lot more. And now here he goes with the DRS once again. Closing in. Can he make use of it? Renault versus McLaren. Guan Yu Zhou gets past, and that is 4th place with Alex Albon and Esteban Gutierrez in the pits. So this stop strategy that he's gone for could pay off here. And Guan Yu Zhou get out ahead of Esteban Gutierrez. Can he close down that gap? No, not at this point. So it is a top 3, like we had 1 week ago around the streets of Baku. Russell, Albon and Gutierrez. Pierre Gasly has another 3-second time penalty. That's something that Alex Albon has also picked up earlier on. And Albon has been having a chat to his engineer.
Alex, apparently George wants to slow down a bit.
For what?
Just to give the fans a show or something.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah, same.
Can you imagine your mate, like they're best mates, those two, and your engineer comes on the radio, Matthew, and says, your best mate is going to take pity on you. He's going to give you a sympathy race at the end of the virtual Grand Prix. What a gut punch that is.
Well, I can guarantee you'll never hear an F1 team radio like that again. There will never be, oh, do you want me to slow down to give the people a show? My goodness me. I mean, I'd love to see it, but through a mistake rather than Russell taking pity. And clearly Alex Albon very much not keen for him to slow down.
It was the sigh.
Yeah.
It was no,
George.
come on. Just give it a rest, George. George Russell at one point of this lockdown period. Let's cover off this move because Bloemen's coming back at JM Correa. JM, as he's known to everyone, and at least he was for the time being. Got the move, but he couldn't keep it. And now here comes Anthony Davidson, who manages to get to the inside of one driver. I thought he was going to cream into the side of another. He slowed it down. Davidson taking one, trying to take two. And he gets through. And, well, frenetic stuff, but it's JM who's got the position.
Oh, goodness me, that's going to end in tears.
Davidson gets through. Davidson finds a way through. So the Mercedes now up to 11th. Correa in 12th. And then the driver you can see at the bottom, the gold medalist, Bloemen in 13th position. At one point of this strange period that has not been normal, we saw George Russell taking out Alex Albon. That's what he was most famous for. And now he's found a bucket load of pace. Oh, very nearly. Guan Yu Zhou visiting the inside wall there, got away with it. Currently leads his teammate in 4th position. And I think that was just a message on the radio from Mr. Russell because the gap is now 7 seconds out front.
Yeah, I love how he teases the, oh, shall I wait? And then just pumps in a fastest lap. So clearly that's our answer then. Yeah, it's very cruel indeed. He's eked out the, I say eked, he's stretched out the gap by another second to 7 seconds. And, well, with Alex Albon having that 3-second time penalty as well, make that 10 as Anthony Davidson gets a penalty. And, well, we're just going to have to wait till lap 35 to see how this all ends. But I know for sure that George Russell doesn't have any penalties. That's one thing I can say for certain.
It's absolutely amazing stuff. And having made the stop, it's all looking good for George Russell. Pierre Gasly clearly having a chat to his engineer.
And having a great time.
In 10th position. And he's been staring at the back of that McLaren for a while now.
I wonder if Tim at Marduk's doing this for a cheeky bit of YouTube clickbait for his next video. I raced another F1 driver. I mean, he's adding to the list, to be fair to him. But he's on the soft tyres, actually, so I would imagine he is going to absolutely fly away from Pierre Gasly now. He's on fresh softs. Will we see a fastest lap from Ben Daly? I'm sure that's what he's going for.
Yeah, not long to go now. And he is flying away. Pierre Gasly gets another penalty. I don't think it could have been for that moment, because that seemed to be OK. Now the two Renaults about to race each other. Guan Yu Zhou, Caio Collet. And if this goes wrong, could be slightly awkward.
Could have fisticuffs.
But remember, social distancing, guys, can't do it.
2 metre fisticuffs. Whatever that is.
Pierre Gasly's been disqualified.
Oh.
We've seen drive-throughs, but for the first time in the virtual Grand Prix, we've seen disqualification for Pierre Gasly.
I mean, I saw a few cropping up here and there, but he would have been told as well. You know, Codemasters have put this very much into the game, that it will say you are nearing disqualification, stop being a naughty boy. And he's ignored that and carried on, and he's been disqualified. What a shame.
It's not come the way of the boys at Enstone there. They're just continuing to... Oh, it could be very, very spicy, as you like to say, Matt, if this goes wrong. But right now, Guan Yu Zhou with those old tyres, and Caio Collet in 4th position with the tyre advantage, with track position. And the young Brazilian really has shone on debut in the last virtual Grand Prix of the year. You can see the strategy the same for all of those in the top 4. Disappointment for Nicholas Latifi because contact robbed his opportunity to mix it up there as well. But great debut for the 17-year-old Brazilian.
And there you have it, Tim at Marduk, 1 minute 10.5, fastest lap of the race, puts himself well and truly in the mix to get fastest lap for this race, and I'm sure he'll be very happy with that indeed. Currently running in P8, closing in very quickly with Latifi, as Bloemen gets a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. We're getting every single variation of penalty.
They're emptying the bag today,
I don't think there's anything left.
There's no more penalties to... I mean, we've already seen a black flag, which is outrageous, given... Well, hold on, let's cover this movement.
Time.
It is. There we go. With Ben Daly down the inside. And he is able to get through on that soft tyre for 7th position. I believe we can hear the team radio with Pierre Gasly as you have a look at that move on screen. Let's hear from Pierre Gasly around disqualification time.
It seems to be a very difficult race, mate. Be careful.
No jokes, Javi. That's when mistakes happen.
That's not Pierre Gasly.
That is not Pierre Gasly, but you could hear the smile on George Russell's face through that team radio. So he's having the time of his life, as he is. Let's see if we can hear from Pierre now.
25-second penalty.
Incredibly talkative.
So that was that.
Honestly, Marcel, I think I'm gonna have, like, I'm not kidding with the 25-second penalty.
That's alright, mate. Just literally don't worry.
Is that Marcel Kiefer saying, yeah, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. Oh, you've been disqualified.
Yeah. It was almost like, don't worry, you're kind of a lost cause at this point. 25 seconds. I don't know how much more you're going to get. And unfortunately, disqualification was probably something that Kiefer should have warned him about, but didn't.
I'm amazed that Pierre Gasly's the only one right now, to be honest, because there's quite a lot of penalties being collected. And we've got Blowman ahead of Correa. These guys have been battling lap after lap. Still they continue. It's totally different compounds of tyre. But Juan Manuel able to come back. Is he going to send one to the inside? Wait for it. Does an Alfa Romeo appear? No. So we're looking at the racing point of Ted Blowman. And we are also checking in the bottom box at George Russell, who had a swig of water and is all right now, in control of things, as it's a 3-second time penalty to Simon Neal, who, well, he's not had the easiest day, but he's going to finish ahead of Pierre Gasly.
No matter what. Even if he gets disqualified, it'll be P19 because Gasly got disqualified first. So you can definitely take that away from this Canadian Grand Prix. But as you say, yeah, Blowman and Correa still fighting. Blowman is on the soft compounder tyres, but Correa clearly has just more natural pace. So these two are very similar on lap times at the moment, which is providing us with some great entertainment as we take a look once again with the bicycle in the background. Is that kind of just hanging on the wall? It looks like.
I think it is. We've reached the stage of the Grand Prix of assessing the interiors.
Oh, absolutely.
Of our drive.
I mean, you assessed my interior when I was racing in the challenge thing.
That wallpaper was pretty funky in my defence. All right,
very flowery.
And to be pointed out. So penalties absolutely everywhere. George Russell dominating. Alex Albon ahead of Esteban Gutierrez. It's all pretty much going to the script right now.
It is, and George Russell, well, far too quick. Amazing. I genuinely want to see him race against the F1 esports drivers, just to see where he ends up. And Alex Albon's not far off either, only 6.3 seconds after 30 laps, but just doesn't have that extra tenth that he needs in that Red Bull. Here's Callum Ilott in P7, chasing down Tiamat Marduk, which he shouldn't really be doing. I imagine Tiamat Marduk actually has just got past the Ferrari driver, as he is on those soft compounded tyres and flying through. And Guan Yu Zhou's not out of touch for Tiamat Marduk in that McLaren, but I think penalties may relegate him after the end of this race.
So on the back straight, they go once again. Nicholas Latifi, 1.8 seconds away from Callum Ilott. Esteban Gutierrez has a penalty. 3 seconds, and Callum Ilott as well, but still no one has triggered the stewards to get disqualified. Only Pierre Gasly so far has managed to do that today. Just seeing if there's so interesting strategy from Mr. Daly to provide us with a bit of entertainment at the end. 6-lap-old soft tyres allows him to attack. It's allowed him to get the fastest lap.
Yes, he's gone soft, medium, soft, if I'm not mistaken, which is a fourth alternate strategy, which wasn't on the graphics. So Ben very much going for a completely different strategy. It's working for him because he is rapid at the moment. That is not Guan Yu Zhou. That is Olsen, I believe, or maybe Simon Neal. But he can just drive straight through, as there's the setting which lapped cars are essentially ghosting, so you can just drive straight through, which is nice and easy for the leaders. Petkov gets a 3-second time penalty. We are running out of memory of
That's not all I'll say is that's not his first. I can't tell you how many that is for him, but he has collected a few today in the other Ferrari. Down there in the 17th position, Ferrari, who have rotated the board in terms of their development drivers that they've given a chance to at esports level.
Hamilton out of the race as well.
In the other McLaren.
P17. Only a few laps to go as well, so a shame for him. I think he was running ahead of Arava and Petkov at that point.
And poor old George, wanted a race with his old mate Alex Albon, wasn't allowed to. Has to just stay out there in the lead. Louis Delatraz, who is currently dealing with the race leader coming through, has a 3-second time penalty.
Both the Hasses, he's just driving straight through. And, well, actually, both the Hasses are now fighting as well. And that's for position for P10.
That is. And Louis Delatraz finds a way to get through on those old tyres. 20 laps on the hard tyre, but he's found a way to get past his teammate. And look at how this was a 3-second gap. It's now down to 1.2. Those soft tyres up against old hard tyres. So different strategies meeting at the end of the race. But what sort of defence is Guan Yu Zhou going to be able to offer? Not much, given what we've seen so far. 3-second time penalty for the Alpha of Juan Manuel Correa.
Game plan for Tia McMardock now is get past, or Albon gets another 3-second time penalty. One more of those, and that'll bring Gutierrez into the equation. But Tia McMardock, game plan, get past Zhou and then just drive. Just drive as fast as you can and try and gap however many seconds you're currently holding of penalties. But I think it's just for the fun, isn't it? I don't think he reckons he's going to beat Zhou come the finish line, but he's going to give us some entertainment either way. Zhou is going to be crying for a new set of tyres. 24 laps on the hards. He is by far the furthest into his stint when you look at the tyre strategies on the left. John Olsen must be very close as well to joining Pierre Gasly in the locker room. But right now, Tia McMardock closing. Surely he will have a chance into the final chicane.
Well, gaining from the traction of the tyres with every single metre that he comes behind the Renault into the slipstream. He's got DRS now, and it's going to be, at least on track, 5th position for Ben Daly, who uses that DRS to get further clear into the final chicane. He's certainly been very, very entertaining today, no matter if he gets switched back around. And up to P5.
Having a little weave as well. I'm not sure if that was for the cameras or to break the toe or if he thought it was the last lap of the race. It's not. Arava gets a 3-second time penalty. You wouldn't think that this track would be very easy to pick up penalties because it's so flowing, it's quite a short circuit, but it's so easy to cut the curbs. There's so many of these opportunities, even though you wouldn't think it. There's not that many turns here, but this chicane's so easy to get a warning. So easy to get a warning into turn 1, into turns 3 and 4. Into 5 and 6, basically just counting now, Alex. But there's so many.
I enjoyed it. Some of your best commentary of the entire season so far.
But my point is, it's very easy to pick up penalties, and we've seen that in this 35-lap race.
Well, Guan Yu Zhou got us started in Bahrain when Mr. Herbert took the lead. After cutting turn number 1, it was Guan Yu Zhou that day who came back. Then the form driver was Charles Leclerc, who was absolutely excellent around the streets of Albert Park and then again at China. And then we saw Alex Albon defeat the Ferrari. That's when the tide turned the way of the driver you're looking at right now, George Russell, who won in Spain. He won in Monaco by a country mile. He also took victory in Baku. And the driver who, in his first season of Formula One, wasn't able to score a point, has been able to show his talent behind the wheel. He hasn't just won these races, he's dominated them. He hasn't just impressed, he's staggered people who believe that he is on par with the esports drivers who do this day in and day out. Once again, you are watching the conclusion of a masterclass from the Williams driver who comes out of the final corner for the final time. George Russell sees the checkered flag and wins in Montreal to make it 4 in a row and take the title. A super drive, and that smile in a few weeks ago was a little bit of relief. Right now he knows he's the best, and he's proved it once again.
Perfection. Not only is he absolutely rapid, but no penalties to his name either. He was pushed by Alex Albon in the last few races, but we don't even see a warning come up for George Russell. Amazing drive. Williams on top of the podium again for the 4th consecutive race. And I bet he reckons, he wishes that this could translate into real life as well. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Taste some champagne.
It certainly would. He has put his name back up there. And I think it's been great for George Russell because whilst he's had to watch the drivers he's grown up with go to race-winning machinery like Alex Albon, like Charles Leclerc, he's reminded everyone of his talents. And when it comes to esports, they are seriously considerable. He's the winner of the final Virtual Grand Prix.
Fantastic work from Matt Gallagher, Alex Jakes, making me chuckle on several occasions. It felt like Matt Gallagher and Arava basically is you and Anthony Davidson, just being harsh on a good friend.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mutual respect and love there, though. Don't worry about that.
4 wins in a row for George Russell.
Amazing stuff. Isn't it great? You know, he had a cracking start and it was never in doubt. And at a tough time for Williams on the track. In the real world, he's putting a smile back on everyone's faces. He's such an impressive guy. Whenever I talk to him at a racetrack, and it's actually to Alex's point there, you know, he's seen his pals who he's come up through the ranks with work with teams that with perhaps better machinery, better cars, but he's never let his head drop. He works tirelessly. He's so popular with the team, and he's always smiling. He's always learning. He says, you know, it's good for me to be under the radar because I'm building to a very bright future. Of that, there's no doubt.
Yeah, it has to be said though, with George Russell, with this racing, it's brought joy to people who've been watching because we can have real life races. At the same time, just to show and to pick up on a point that Alex and Matt said, the fact that George Russell has never raced in a sim before in terms of this F1 esports, and going to perform like that just shows how good of a driver he is. He can make that transition.
Absolutely. And, you know, the wider point about just how well the racing world has collaborated and the sense of solidarity at a very difficult time has been hugely impressive. It's certainly made me very proud. And this kind of virtual web that's been cast around the world, that everybody from various countries, miles apart, can come together for a race, has been a brilliant way of pulling together at a very difficult time. And, you know, George personifies all of that for me. It's brilliant. Yeah,
definitely. That word community means that the community right now can look back at some of the highlights of that incredible race in Canada. And the race really had everything. I saw coming into this moment, George Russell just getting a lead. The carnage that was going off there, as you can see.
You expected that, didn't you?
It felt like some drivers had forgotten something and wanted to turn back round and get it before the race started. And then it's lap 3. Alex Albon slipped back. There was a situation as he's dropping now. And it was there for George Russell to just get into the groove, find his rhythm, and take that lead away and make sure that someone that we spoke about, Esteban Gutierrez, has been fantastic in the last few races. You know, he was 3rd in Baku, in Monaco he was 2nd, in Spain he was 3rd. So he's been performing well, but once George got that lead, he never looked back.
It was never challenged, was it? I mean, I did think at one stage we were going to have a Williams 1-2. Latifi starting well, looking for a strong result, because he kind of deserves the strong result throughout this series, but he spun into the wall, tumbled down the order, and it was a bit of a shame, actually, because it'd be great to see them on the 1st and 2nd step, wouldn't it? Yeah, Latifi heading to the wall, lap 5. Coming up very shortly, we're seeing lap 13 now, 35. Wheel spinning back. What a collision a moment that was, as, of course, damage is taken off. This is a brilliant overtake from Ben Daly, actually, really pushing it to the limit. You'll see him on your screen as Tiamat Marduk. And let's have a little listen to George crossing the line when we get there, because it's brilliant to hear from him. What I thought was...
Just listen to the stream at the moment.
There you go. Listen, lap 23, as we wait for that little confirmation there. He even asked the team radio, Marcel Kiefer got on the radio to Alex Albon and said, basically, shall we take pity on you? Which I thought was, as Matt Gallagher said, what a gut blow, and Alex Jakes actually said it, to suggest that for us at home, he could slow down a bit. That is the personification of a man who hasn't won in real-life racing, but is just finding his groove and that character that oozes confidence, and we love to see. Yeah, I mean, he asked what on earth was going on behind him, and he was told, you're just in your own galaxy. That was it. I mean, that was just music to his ears, isn't it? Yeah. The race was great. It was full of entertainment. Penalties are plenty. 1 disqualification, for goodness sake. But lots of drama and lots of different tyre strategies as well.
4, I think.
Yeah.
In total, more than we considered.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously we know that these drivers can't wait to get back real-life racing. Some of the content creators can't wait for the new F1 2020 game that is coming out so that they can get up to speed. We've got the F1 Esports Pro Series coming back at the end of the year. But in terms of being a showcase and providing that entertainment, it definitely lived up to it. All of the virtual Grand Prix we've had.
Yeah, it did. And actually, I think the turnover of drivers has been pretty high. So it's given everyone the opportunity to showcase their talent, which is crucial at the moment. And, you know, sometimes I've kind of wanted to see drivers build a bit more momentum and come back for more. And there's been a bit of a mash-up of the grid, if you like. But that's been great because, as you say, it gives them the opportunity to show the world what they're capable of.
Yeah, George Russell having a very clean race. When we look at the penalties now with the classification, whew, it's for cheeky viewing. As you will see there, the penalties. We did say in this format, strict track limits, and I tell you what, they didn't heed that in any way, shape or form.
Can you only imagine that applied in the real world?
No, I can't, but this is what makes it entertaining. This is where it stands alone, the virtual Grand Prix. Alex Albon finishing in second. I mean, he's been there or thereabouts, but it just goes to show how George Russell has been on the grind. He's grafted, he's got better at sim racing here for the esports. And then Caio Collet deserves a shout out. His debut today in fourth. Any other drivers that stand up for you? Are we going to praise Anthony Davidson finally, Natalie?
Of course, Anthony in the P8. I think he would have been a bit disappointed with Ben Daly pushing him into the wall the early stages because he was climbing up the order, but he's tucked inside the points, so that's great. David Schumacher also taking a single point, which is great. But yes, I mean, George Russell really is the man of the day, the man of the series. He's found his groove, as you put it, and he's just gone with it. And if he can take this, if this does translate into the real world, it'll be great. It would be fantastic to see. Listen, I would love to chat to your winner, and I believe we can do that right now. In the voice of Alex Albon, I will shout, George! George Russell, how are you feeling? 4 wins back-to-back.
Feeling great. Loving that impression, by the way. I think you got a little bit of work to do on that. But,
okay, is it higher pitch? Is that what I need?
I don't really know, to be honest. Maybe ask Alex for a bit of advice. I think it's just pure rage we need to get deeper from the heart, I think.
But listen, I have to say, George, there was a moment you were so comfortable. Lap 23, you might not have heard it, but Marcel Kiefer on the team radio for Alex said he's been requested, shall George slow down a bit to make it more of a spectacle? This is confidence that we'd have never expected, maybe from yourself. Bordering on cockiness, I think, actually.
I said that if Alex got a few more penalties, I would slow down to not put the race win in jeopardy and make a bit of a race for the fans. But I think Alex didn't listen to me then. No. I think he only got his penalties at the end. So I'll blame Alex for that one. He did shut down that suggestion pretty quickly.
But all jokes aside, how important has this virtual racing been for you throughout lockdown?
It's been great. I mean, it's kept us entertained, kept us busy, that's for sure. And it's kept the competitive side of us, you know, busy and interested. You know, we don't have that racing for us to go out and do at the moment, and having this opportunity to, you know, race against, you know, all of us, our mates. It's been a great fun along the way. And, you know, from my side, it's just been, you know, put a lot of hard work and effort in, and I'm glad we've got some good results to show for it.
Congratulations to you, Alex. We can't quite see you at the moment, but we're seeing you looking in your sort of gear, ready to get back into real-life racing. It has to be said, I'm sorry about that impression I did of you, but...
that was terrible.
Oh, OK, fair enough.
Terrible.
Fair enough. I didn't want to put as much emotion into it, but he must be a very frustrating driver to go against in terms of his current form in the esports.
Yeah, he is. He's extremely quick now. I feel like George is kind of stuck with it. And in the beginning, Charles looked like the quick one, and then George just comes through and just destroyed all of us. I've just been an average P2 the whole way, which has been, yeah, I mean, average Alex.
Well, listen.
Average Alex. That's a new hashtag, I think.
I've just regretted saying that. Because
now get it trending, people. Get it out there.
We're going to change it to awesome, Alex. Thank you very much.
Listen, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm glad you've enjoyed taking part in the virtual Grand Prix. We wish you the best of the luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much for taking part.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you go. So almost it for the final of the virtual Grand Prix. But before we sign off, let's just take a look back at some of those amazing moments. Strict track limits are on.
Barges Herbert out of the way.
No more of that creative driving lines.
That is a ridiculous place to put your car. You'd never be able to do that in real life.
I vowed to beat Ben Stokes.
I'll have to pull his pants up at the end of the race.
What can Jimmy Brock? Oh no! Fantastic action all the way to the end.
Unbelievable scenes. I took my glasses off to let a tear out.
Good afternoon and welcome everybody from the Principality of Monaco.
Oh, he's going to barge his way through. Hunter's got the inside line.
Come on. Good luck, Ian.
Let's have it.
I think I'm ready.
Carlos Sainz's garden looked immaculate.
It was a bet with some of my friends.
Oh, look at that now.
Oh, no.
Oh, you've got me all flustered.
We've ruined Ian's race.
I'm going to go for George Russell.
It's a win for George Russell.
He's flying.
3 in a row for George Russell.
I specifically demanded entertainment, and I got it. There you go. We raced on. I was getting a bit tearful there. I was watching it. Brilliant fun. What's been a highlight for you, Natalie?
Well, 8 races that all delivered on every level. There was so much entertainment. And as I've said time and time again, we needed it at this time, and it delivered every single time. I think probably the race that stood out for me the most was Interlagos, when that lead just kept changing hands backwards and forwards. That had everything. Particularly enjoyed talking to Fernando Alonso as well. Wouldn't it be great to see him back on the grid, perhaps in the Renault seat?
Oh, you made a prediction earlier with George Russell. You don't want to...
I'm putting it out there tonight, aren't I? My goodness. No, it really has been a pleasure. Codemaster's done a magnificent job. All of you are just great to work with, so thank you so much.
An absolute pleasure to have you on board with this. Final standings of everything that's happened. George Russell winning the championship. Listen, that is it for the virtual Grand Prix here from the Gfinity Arena. It's the home of F1 esports. I cannot wait to bring back the F1 esports Pro Series. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you're up to date with all of our socials to get to it. A massive thank you to all of the team, to F1, to Matt Gallagher, Alex Jakes, to everyone that's been involved, the team that do an incredible job behind the scenes. But listen, we are going to be back, and if you want to see what's happening, we are going to the real-life races. This is what you can expect.
Get set for action here in Austria. Verstappen, he's really going for it today. Vettel's on the inside of Hamilton.
Lost power.
The championship leader is out of this race. Yes!
Oh, this feels good.
All 5 lights are on. It's all to race for. Coming to turn 4. Oh, he's hit him. He's done it. Oh, he's taken 2.